LTA Nation, welcome back to another episode of LTA. Let's talk about it. The podcast where we explore the intricacies of relationships and help you navigate the journey of love. I am indeed your host. Grab a drink, sit back, and let's talk about it. Today we will talk about toxic people and toxic behavior and how does that affect a relationship. I want to thank everyone that's been following us and supporting the channel, supporting the podcast so far. Keep doing so. Stick to us. Let us go on this journey. We stand for the family unit, for men and women to be together, for kids to be in a lovely and safe environment, and we stand for the family unit. That's what is the most important to us. For those who have been around, you've listened to other episodes. Each episode we try to indulge into things that actually affect the relationship, and toxic behavior and having relationships with toxic people including friendship, family members, neighbors, co-workers. Everybody has a little bit of toxicity in them, but we want to focus mostly on relationships, because without relationships there is no family unit. Without the family unit there is no future, and here we stand for the family future, for the family unit, and for the future as well. Like I mentioned, there are several types of several groups of people that could be toxic. A lot of people have overbearing parents, which I believe I've done a video about that. Some people have a very toxic relationship with their siblings. Some people have very toxic relationship at work, which is the most common. Work and family are the most common places to, be around toxic people. There's always something. And some people themselves are toxic, and they project that onto other people. And we will definitely address that today. How to spot if you are in a toxic relationship. I have indeed mentioned this in previous videos, but today I want to go in depth. Okay? Specifically about toxic people. One of the biggest traits of a toxic person, the person often has some type of pathology, some type of erotic behavior, not erotic, okay? Erotic behavior. For example, a person might be insecure. A person might lack empathy. A person might be a sociopath. The person might have emotional baggage. Maybe the person is spoiled. Maybe the person's been through bad experiences that conditioned them and changed who they were in the first place. These type of people, these people are people with these traits. They tend to be toxic in a relationship. The most common type of toxicity in a relationship is controlling. Checking what you're doing, where you at, who are you with, where you going through your phone, checking your things. Now, keep in mind that this is something that I don't even understand, but the time that you're spending controlling somebody else, you could be spending that time on yourself, improving and getting yourself better. The problem is that people that have this type of behavior, they want and they need control. They need other people's validation. This is a huge problem. It's quite common, but I don't think people are tackling it enough. For example, people go through your phone. Listen, I don't mind giving you access to my phone, but if you go through somebody's phone specifically to control them, that is a toxic behavior. You don't have the right to do that. A lot of people think that, being in a relationship is being in prison. You got a warden, you got times to do things. No, that's crazy. No, that's not. Relationships are meant to be free. The people that stay the longest together are people that allow their partners to be free within the relationship. You want somebody to be with you because they want to be with you, not because they have to. That is toxic. And it's just like a snowball rolling down a mountain full of snow. It gets bigger. And eventually it's going to crash onto something. It's going to break something. It's going to crash onto a tree, maybe a shack in the middle somewhere. But that snowball, it's gonna break, right? It's gonna crash onto something. Most common types of toxic behavior: controlling. Usually a person that controls somebody is a person that is definitely insecure. People control for many reasons, right? But insecurity plays a huge part. A controlling person and an insecure person often lacks the ability to look into themselves. So they project whatever it is they're thinking, they're feeling, they will project that on you. And many times a person that is accusing you of doing things, either they have done it in the past or they're doing that same thing themselves. And they're thinking, well, if I could do it, then my partner can also do it. Do you know what I mean? So instead of taking accountability for their actions, they become controlling. They are projecting whatever they're doing on you. That is toxic. Okay? Now, if you're in a toxic relationship, so that's the most common form of, obviously, toxicity. If you're in a toxic relationship and, anything that I mentioned so far matches whatever you're going through, congratulations, you are in a toxic relationship. Okay? We're going to talk about how to navigate around that, because as I said, we stand for the family unit. We don't want you guys to break up. Okay? The only time I would agree with breaking up is if there's no more, feelings, like real love, like, you can't stand the person, you don't have feelings for the person, or when there's physical violence. This is where I draw the line. Apart from that, there's always a chance, there's always an opportunity to be better, get better. If you guys listened to my previous episode, I spoke about how the self, how yourself, the individual, how important it is for the self to be healthy, and that will reflect in a relationship. Okay? Toxic people often lack the ability to take accountability for their actions. They make excuses. They listen to people that they shouldn't listen to. They often talk about your relationship to someone else. That is a major red flag. One should not ever speak about their relationship to anyone apart from when there's physical violence. If you're in a relationship and your partner is obviously abusing you physically, then you need to seek help. This is the only time where you should talk about your relationship to anyone. Point blank, period. Keep your relationship between you and your partner, because you both are each other's representative. I represent my partner to my family, and she represents me to her family. If I say bad things about her to my family, to my friends, then first of all, it's super awkward. It's super, super awkward. It's just weird, right? And people that don't even know your partner now is judging your partner because you said some things when you were angry. That's toxic. Every time you let external elements get into your relationship, that is toxic. If you go through your partner's things, you're in a toxic relationship. If you need to control your partner, if you need to go through your partner's things, if you lack confidence, you are in a toxic relationship. A lot of people think that relationships are just controlling. Just control. And it's not. Relationships should be very easy, free, but obviously with boundaries. One can be free with boundaries. We do it every day. We are free to do whatever we want, but we're not out there, at least the most of us, beating people up, stealing and robbing, right? Just, jumping in the middle of the road. You know what I'm saying? Like doing some weird stuff, because we all know boundaries. And the most important thing that we know is consequences. How come in a relationship people forget about consequences and boundaries? Because you haven't set them up. You see, if you have listened to my episodes, if you have been following us for a while, you probably listened to the very first episodes where I speak about boundaries. I speak about how to veto, how to select your partner properly, what questions to ask, how to make sure that your partner is suitable for you before you get into a relationship. It's so easy to get into a relationship. It's hard to get out of one, especially if it's a toxic one. So you have to consider before you even get into a relationship. So it's very, very important to set boundaries. For example, every other week I go out with my friends. Going out with my friends doesn't mean getting drunk beyond anything, getting shit-faced. Okay? It doesn't mean doing drugs. It doesn't mean getting around some promiscuous things or behavior or people, whatever. Going out with my friends, it's just what we do because we are social creatures. And you should trust me that whatever I do, I will not do anything to jeopardize us. I have proven myself to you. We both are with each other because we want to, not because we have to. That's why it is important to master yourself. If you are insecure, if you have insecurity issues, problems, you need to master yourself. You should never be in a relationship if you're insecure. You should never be in a relationship if you're not good enough for you. If you're not good enough for you, how do you want other people to see? People are gonna see what you transpire. If you're insecure and you're always worried about how people are going to perceive you, then people are going to perceive you in a weird way because you're not transpiring confidence. You're not confident. You're not good enough for you. You're not good enough for you. However, you want me to love you. You want me to be with you. Insecurity, major issue. You are in a toxic relationship. And you have to consider all of these. Right. We covered going through your stuff. Obviously being controlling, oversharing with friends and family, bringing external people into your relationship, talking too much, oversharing, literally, things about your partner that your partner shared with you. Some people do this. Getting into other people's relationships. A lot of people have friends that create more doubts than certainties. If you have a friend that creates more doubts in your mind, you need to eliminate that friend. A friend should not create doubts. A friend should ask you pivotal question, important questions, so you can make pivotal decisions, right? A friend should give you perspective, but a friend should always stay neutral, especially if you're gonna take an important decision that might hinder your success. A friend should never tell you, yeah, you should do this for sure, because that person is such and such. They don't know. It doesn't matter if you tell them. You're never gonna tell them from my perspective. You're gonna tell them from your perspective. You are being toxic. You talking to your friends about your partner, you are being toxic. I'm telling you, 100%. If you ever done that, you are a toxic partner, or at least you have had, or have displayed some toxic behavior, right? So let's define toxicity. I'm a bit late for that, but let's define toxicity. We all know what obviously a toxic person is, but let's define toxicity. A toxic person is obviously anyone whose behavior will add negativity or a negative feeling and upset the person that they're dealing with. Many times toxic people are actually going through some things themselves, and that's why I've been talking about, looking into the self. Okay, they have traumas, they have stress, they have unfinished businesses with their previous partners, they've been hurt, and they act in odd and weird ways. Fear and insecurity is their weapon, their sword and shield, and one needs to pay attention to these kind of things, right? Now, anyone that's been following us, you know that I'm a Stoic, and I share with you some quotes from my favorite Stoics. These are people used to be, or they were generals, they were leaders, they were kings, and I'll share with you a quote from Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor from Rome, and I quote, "Settle on the type of person you want to be and stick to it, whether alone or in company. Be consistent." End quote. Be consistent. Choose who you want to be 100% of the time. But make sure that the person that you are is always the better version of your previous self. And this is very important. Some people are just stagnated in time. They won't budge. They will not go anywhere. They're just gonna stay there. You know what I'm saying? They're just stubborn. They just they do this. I don't know. It's not my fault. It's your fault. They have 2, 3, 4 relationships. They all end at 35, 36 with 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? They can't get into a relationship, but they're blaming other people. It's always other people's problem. It's never their problem. When are you going to look into yourself? That reflects that these people are toxic. If you got into a relationship with a person like this, they've been in several relationships, yet they're still single, what do you think that's going to be like? What do you think that's going to be like? So you have to consider. So, obviously, how does that affect a relationship? There is no relationship. It's just hell, right? And then we're gonna combine one of the most toxic elements of all time: sex, intimacy. Some people use sex as a weapon, in a relationship. Could be a man, could be a woman. Some people use sex as a relationship. F and F. F and then fight. Fight and then F. That's what they do. So they never actually get to stop and think and look at the situation. That's why I always tell you guys, listen. No matter who you are, you're out there, you're listening to me. If sex is the first thing on your mind, you should not get into a relationship. I'm going to repeat that, and you'll let that sink in. If sex is the first thing on your mind, you should not be in a relationship. I have been through a process where I have not had sex by choice, and I have not had any type of encounter, sexual encounter, period, for nearly 2 years by choice, to regain that power. That is one thing that every man should do to make sure that they regain that power. Sex, unfortunately, we use sex in a recreational way, but sex within the relationship is to celebrate your partner, celebrate your bond. It's not to be toxic. If you have fights with your partner and you guys go straight into having sex, you are in a toxic relationship. Because tomorrow you guys are going to fight about the same exact thing. You guys call each other names, you're in a toxic relationship. Oh, yeah, I love you, but I don't really like you. Congratulations, you're in a toxic relationship. Okay? So we established what toxicity is. We established what toxic people are. We gave several examples about, toxic behavior. People with addiction, also huge problem. But we're going to cover that on another episode. So now let's talk about how to navigate toxicity in a relationship, right? Let's pretend hypothetically I have a toxic partner that is insecure, is controlling, and have self-esteem issues. Okay? Also, no addictions. Okay, right. Just these. Hypothetically. The first thing that you should do is definitely help the person navigate whatever they're feeling. Do not disregard the person's feelings just because they're being too much. Speak, talk, open the line of communication. Let the person tell you how they're feeling. Like I said in one of my previous episodes, if you don't let your partner speak, you're not going to know what they're feeling. This is where a lot of bad things happen when somebody feels like they cannot talk to you. Another quote from Marcus Aurelius, one of my favorite Stoics, and I quote, "Conceal a flaw, and the world will imagine the worst." So if you don't let your partner speak, or you don't tell your partner how you're feeling, your behavior may look so much more exaggerated in their eyes because they don't know what's going on. They have no idea. Communicate how you are feeling to your partner. Guys, I can't stress that enough. Can't stress that enough. Communication is key. You have to let them know how you're feeling. And I'm not talking about screaming and shouting. And if it comes to that, as long as you get it out. Now, a person that does this on a regular basis, they do this as a form of control. If a person always has something to say or repeats the same thing over and over, but there is no, like that's the conjecture. There's no progression. The person is just being toxic. It's a vicious cycle. However, to a certain extent, you need to let your partner speak, and you need to let them know how you feel. Now, once you've done that, you and your partner should be able to come up with a solution. Okay. So when it comes to how you guys are feeling, that's okay. It's okay. You can agree to disagree as long as you understand how your partner's feeling. You might not accept it, but you have to understand it. Okay? You might accept, well, yeah, I don't really agree with that, but I understand where you're coming from. I understand that that's your perspective or perception. Sorry, it both words. I understand how you're feeling, or at least what you think you feel. But if they say something that is not true about you, you have to make that clear. Do not dismiss it. Oh, I think that you don't give me enough attention. Okay, we spent this amount of time together. We've done this and this together. I think I spent enough time. I have other things to do. But tell me a bit more about that. Why do you feel like that? What is it that I have done that reflected, that made you feel in that way? Ask questions. Listen. Ask the right questions. Listen to the answers. Let the answers swirl in your mind so you can come back with something intelligent, something reasonable to say. Okay? So, open the line of communication. Listen. Do not conceal how you are feeling, because sometimes you might feeling something small, but you acting in a weird way. You don't want to bring it up. You don't want conflict. You just want to brush it under the carpet, but then it becomes a big thing. Okay? Definitely let your partner know how you're feeling. Now, if it's a case of the person has serious mental issues, then you have to be able to tell your partner. And guys, a lot of people feel defensive over this. This is stupid. Okay? This is stupid. Your partner should be able to tell you. If your partner speaks with you and your partner feels like, okay, I feel like, or I think that you are having some type of behavior, don't feel undermined. Don't feel that the person is patronizing you. Consider, maybe you are. Contact your local physician. Contact, an institution. Definitely look for help. Don't tell them, oh, my partner said I'm crazy. This is not what's all about. It's about you. I am feeling this way. What could that be? It's okay to ask for help. Damn, I mean, so many times I've been depressed. So many times I've been bad. And it's okay to ask for help. It could come from just your friend listening to you, to a family member, your cousin, your brother. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you talk to your mom, maybe you talk to your grandma, maybe you talk to your dad. It doesn't really matter. You can talk to someone without giving too much details, just to let them know how you are feeling. And ask their opinion as well. It's okay. As long as you don't share, you don't overshare. It's okay. So when somebody says, okay, I think that, we've been having a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of small fights. I don't know what's going on. I'm not in a position to help you because I'm also going through my things, but I don't want to break up. What can we do? We should both seek help. It's okay to seek help, guys. I don't understand how this is such a big deal. Like, from a stranger, impartial person, even better, because the judgment factor will be way lower because these people don't know you, right? But don't be in a position where you're afraid or you're ashamed to ask for help. You are in a toxic relationship with somebody that has extreme toxic behavior. Maybe you're surrounded by toxic people. Your family. Listen, let me just give you an example. Has it ever happened to you guys going down the road, down the street, and you see a friend of yours that is sad, something bad happened, maybe somebody is in the hospital, they lost their job, or they're sad for some reason, and hey, how are you doing? And they share that with you. And then when they leave, that sadness lingers with you. And on the flip side, how many times have you encountered one of your friends you haven't seen in like 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and he's super hype, he's having a great day. Hey, yeah, how's it going? Hey, I'm just going down. I'm gonna go some shopping, or this amazing thing happened to me, and that energy, positive energy, lingers on you. In the relationship, it's 10 times worse because they the intricacy of a relationship, of that type of energy within a relationship, it's magnified because you guys have feelings for each other. So whatever this is real, guys. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you have some type of energy, that negative energy will affect the relationship. But if it's a positive energy, it will also affect the relationship positively. So if you're feeling down and your partner is insecure, talk to them. Babe, I think you might be insecure. Can we talk about this? You have really toxic behavior. I know I have toxic behavior sometimes. I'm trying to tackle it, but you have toxic behavior, right? We might even agree to disagree. That's fine. But this behavior that you're having, it might not be toxic, but it's toxic to me. And it's affecting me. And it's affecting how I see you, how I feel about you. And I don't want that to happen. Communication is key, guys. I'm telling you, a lot of things that you guys do to each other in a relationship right now, it's not even that big of a deal. It's just a matter of taking the first step and talking about it. That's why this channel is called Let's Talk About It. So let's talk about it. You have to speak with your partner. If your partner doesn't know that you're going through things or whatever they're doing, it's affecting you in a negative way. How do you want them to change it? Right? It could be your partner, it could be your friend, it could be a family member, it doesn't matter. You have to clear it, just you and that person, and clear it. And in a relationship, that's so important. Now, let's say that the toxic behavior does not end. In fact, it escalates. This person needs help. Okay? Now, let's play the devil's advocate. And let's say that you, the one that's listening to me right now, are the one projecting. So you're also toxic, but you never see your side. You only see your partner being toxic to you. Consider, have you done anything that I've said so far? If you did, you're toxic. You're complaining that your partner is toxic, but you also do toxic things. So a conversation is definitely due, right? If you guys need some time apart, get time apart. Guys, I listen, I can't tell you how many relationships people been apart from 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then they've been together for 15 years, man. Sometimes being apart is good, it's important. You get your mind together. It gives you time to miss that person. It gives you time to and space to have that moment of clarity. Okay? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to communicate to your partner about their behavior towards you if they have some type of behavior. Now, true that some people may use that as a weapon, and anything that you do is bad, and they're blaming you for all the problems in the world. That's another problem that needs to be addressed. And I think that can only be addressed with professional help. But if you cannot communicate to your partner how you're feeling, and your partner is always accusing you of their own demise, then tell them to come and talk to us. Listen to LTA. we will lead them in the right direction, right? It is important that you communicate to your partner about how you're feeling towards them, about how you're feeling towards something that they did, towards the way that they're acting, behaving, and treating you. Because if the person doesn't know, they won't be able to change it. Most importantly, nobody changes. I've noticed that somebody's nature is somebody's nature. People get better or worse, and we want everyone to get better. Guys, we will have very soon live shows. Send us your emails, give us your examples, leave some comments, get the channel going, get the conversation going. Let's exchange ideas. It's all about networking. And like, subscribe, share, and talk about it, because that's what we're here for. It has been emotional. I've been your host. Stay safe.